You guys should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. So Jared's already kind of pointed it out. We are looking for the blue spots, blue and black. That's the colder spots in the particular frame. So we're always going to have blue and black because of glass, an aluminum can on the ground, and so forth and so on. I'm looking for those blue and black pieces of the frame to start moving or to take shape on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught in the past. Hopefully we'll capture it again. I also have this guy set up with a blue dot bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. It bounces around. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops out of this. I think ambient temperature for us tonight, I think is like 64 degrees, which means I'm looking for 49 degrees when I'm looking at that blue dot in the event we don't have a full blue apparition coming at us. Now, does this capture something every night? Not necessarily. I will make the point, I always give you guys stats of like what to expect out of this. I probably capture 4 to 5 pieces out of this per year that I'll put my stamp of approval on that it was definitely paranormal. So if we're not recording, we won't capture. So I'm not a TV show host where everything's going to be a ghost and oh my God, look at this kind of mentality. I will look at it, but it's a matter of like, okay, let's debunk it first and then maybe we have an anomaly going on with it. So with this one, and then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space, just so you guys have an idea of the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which one's here so we know how to address them. One person with her car here got me cutting through already. Sorry, I just saw the flashing lights. And by the way, if you see someone already going through the car, you can just kind of lower your camera. Yeah, people get weird now. We're not YouTubers out here, even though these videos do go to YouTube. But anyway, back to the Chucks. So that's why I always look for those secondary clues so I know which one's here. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. 10.2, that's your new baseline. Anything below that while we're here. With the temperature, unless Jared starts screaming that he's got something, it's usually the only time I turn the phase engine. I'll be honest. Because it's going to hover probably between 56 and 61 all night long. That's why I said 15 degrees or colder. That's where I get excited. So what was that, a 10.1? So now that he's getting some heating up, let me kind of pause there for a second, just so you guys know what he's looking at. So that's measuring electricity in the air, basically. So the whole fluctuation of that, and it could be the possibility of a spirit coming by and just kind of saying hello and saying what's happening. Now, to give you a reference around your home, your TV set, if you were to put that behind your TV, is going to be about 40 to 60 milligauss. Your microwave heating up your food is about 150 to 170. The highest I've ever seen that device go, in my 14 years of ghost hunting, has been at this location. A couple of weeks ago, probably about a month now, it actually errored out. So, Jerry, you might want to lower your camera. We got some folks walking through. So when I say it aired out, we went above 200. Like, that's like putting your head inside the running microwave. We left. So, again, I already told you I have epilepsy, too much electricity in the air. He's my safety director at this point. If that thing starts to stay in triple digits, I'm going to keep an eye on it, and we may leave a little earlier than we expect. So anyway, back to the signers of the Constitution. I hate politics. We're going to move on, but if I don't give those gentlemen that recognition, they're going to do it for me nationally through a spirit box. I've seen it a couple of times. So I just make sure I give them that recognition. It's kind of like, hey, what about us, Nick? We're going to be talking about Eliza. Let's move on. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. Say it slowly because if we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days of when young ladies got married, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age. It's creepy then, it's creepy now. So kind of keep that in mind. So she married him because his father is over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all these kids home one last time. So Eliza doesn't think he's dying. She stays put right here and gets married. He's 1744. You don't get married in that year. You're going to rain from it. It's not a punishment. It's not a thing. It's a true love story. There's nothing horrific about this place whatsoever. And by the way, you will be very respectful of our here. Back to Eliza. She was correct. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts had to do with plant seeds. aside from, where are you buried, which president was a pallbearer at your funeral. So again, the how, age, where, and president are the four majors. If you go rogue and ask your own questions, be respectful, and no yes, no question there in this location. Last one, appreciate it. You won't get any answers. You're going to stay focused on the mansion, not hearing that your device never gives us 1 or 2 syllable benefits. So ask what happened to the mansion. Hopefully you get what happened. If we get what happened, the offer is 2 or 3 numbers from the exact
Cars in the background.
so I usually get very excited because there is numbers. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind you might get answers to questions. The only thing I'll ask everybody, if anybody's going to be helping these out with those questions, do not. It's kind of weird that I can call the jump and text up and all right. Wow, you see where my brain was, right? But do not ask questions about your children. I'll explain the whole in this case. We are going to spread out. We're going to see if we can capture and do a couple round robins and see if she's unmuted. And like Darren's like all over this thing, so you guys out there. He's like telling me every single number that pops up. I love it. So Tegan, are you already on record? All right, so let's keep that thing rolling. Jared, you got anything weird going on?
No,
Okay, so nice.
the only thing is I thought I heard someone walking behind me. There was no one there. I thought there was a pedestrian that just like crossed
Like
again.
you heard the gravel?
Yeah.
That will be interesting. Because I don't listen to the audio, if and when you do find it, send me the marker.
Okay.
So, because again, I'm watching it in fast forward, looking for visuals, not looking for sounds.
All right. I'll look 5 minutes on this recorder.
Okay. You might want to stay close to him, simply because if you miss something, it's going to be on that audio, so that way you can kind of see what's going on. All right, everybody, let's kind of spread out. Have you heard anything, by the way? Since we've been
I
standing
was
here?
listening to you. I had it like turned down to
Just a little bit. Let's try to get your ears trained.
Did you say hi?
Hi.
So, he's got it.
What happened to the house that was here? You want to ask questions too?
What were the questions?
He wants me to focus on like what happened to the house that was here and like when the date that it happened.
So like, who's the owner of the house that was here?
Well, we know that went over, but yeah. What happened to the house? Where is she?
That was a rice burner. Cut that out of audio.
Taken, yeah.
Misty's coming.
Yeah, I gotta keep someone in view at all times. This car window.
He took off on us. What are we doing on that thing, man?
Trying to make sure I keep that sky out.
Yeah, it's not easy to do here. With this location, just so you know, do you see how the ground's like different shades of blue?
Oh yeah,
There's mud, gravel, cement, all kinds of
I
different
noticed
material.
that in the little divots,
Yep, they're wet.
potholes.
Cold.
It makes them colder.
These are filled with water. I mean, it's got mud in there, which has water in it. But with this camera, just so you know, it's not always a real-time find. So if I'm not following up with you as much as I am, you know, say with Misty, it's because I put those up on YouTube so I can watch them on a bigger screen.
Exactly.
You guys can watch
I'm
on
just
YouTube.
trying to make sure I keep it. I'm not even like watching it the entire time either, because lo and behold, you know,
I get it.
once in a blue moon I might catch something. But the only thing, I'm keeping my ears open. That was creepy. I thought there was another pedestrian.
It is weird that you.
So I wanted to
footsteps.
lower my camera, but I turned around and I was like,
There's nobody there.
there's nobody there.
May have been wandering around.
I just thought, I didn't know, it could have been the wind blowing something across the gravel, like, you know.
Maybe, but I mean, there's really no debris in here, dude. I mean, there's nothing. Nothing's gonna make that shuffling sound like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was that.
Interesting. Misty, have you heard anything yet? Are you getting enough?
It's really hard to hear.
Okay, let me see if we can get you some volume. Maybe that's the issue.
I'm hearing stuff here, but it's like muffled.
There we go.
I mean, you shouldn't have to hold it.
That was a little weird. It might just be the camera doing that, but it almost looked like someone was behind them. I think it was just a duplexity thing.
Still don't want as much coming through. Just heard a voice come through. I just couldn't make it out.
When she first turned it on a second ago, I thought it said hi.
Now, Eliza's not going to use the word hi.
Oh.
Got to know your ghost.
Die.
Who lived in the house that was on this lot?
What year did they tear this house down? Why did they tear it down? When they tore it down, how did it make you feel?
Was this house torn down against your will?
No, yes, no. No, it's alright. It's alright. Keep pumping them out. You're doing great.
It's hard. It's like hard to make out what's coming through.
Make sure I'm moving nice and slow. If anybody's here, why don't you come over here? Come say hi. Eliza? Are you here? Eliza, what is your connection to this lot?
Two birds. I keep like.
Can you give us the year? Employee of the restaurant.
At home today. That's what I was doing. I came in today. I had
Keep it lower.
walking around the house. Our floor is laying.
You want to try?
Like we were testing it.
Are you having fun or no?
It's hard to hear like anything that comes through.
Let's see if she's got anything now. I had to put her volume up. Misty, what do you have? Anything?
It's hard. No, it's hard to make out anything.
Okay. Remember, you're not going to hear nearly as much as what Grace is getting. So when you do get something, A, it's exciting because you know it's more than likely going to be relevant. It has a higher chance than what she's hearing. But again, it's one of those pieces we never know. I can't make anything up, and I can't make things happen. Either she's here or she's not. So I will tell you that every time Grace was actually asking a question about Eliza's death, they were getting a spike on the EMF. Like from like under 5 all the way up to like in the 30s and 40s. So I mean, it's a little bit of a reaction, but again, we never know how Eliza's going to react to anything. There's something there. It almost sounded like a hello.
I know when we first started and turned it on, it really sounded like a hi.
And that's what he said. I was like, but that's not a term Eliza would use.
Eliza, is there a favorite out of our group that you like?
That was a yes/no question, just so you know.
Oh, you're right.
hard.
You're right.
I'm the English guy. I'm
You're
sorry.
right. No,
I will
no, no.
correct him
You're
every
right. You're
time.
right.
Not on to me for doing that too.
Yeah. So I wholly accept
That's hard.
constructive.
That was a what? For
Yeah.
sure.
What? All right, Eliza. What year did the house get torn down?
Eliza, give us some of those details about your mansion. You know which questions we ask. It's the same thing every night. Eliza.
How about this, Eliza? Who among us is your favorite?
Well, there's a way to reword it. Kudos to him. I don't know why you're asking that question. You know the answer. It's going to be my name coming up.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear it.
Oh, I didn't hear what it said.
Yeah, it said something as we were laughing.
All right, Grace, you got anything else coming through? Okay. Seems like you're going to probably struggle with that a little bit. It's all the silly things that you're hearing.
Who lives
So
on this
if you
house?
hear Harry Styles singing, tell me what you see.
I heard the Bee Gees stand alive.
Okay, so again, it's still something. So again, you heard the word die, you also heard the word staying alive. And you can look at that as
Who did you live with while you lived here?
keeping Eliza alive by talking about her every day. So is that a big stretch? It is. But you really don't know all the history that I do about this location. So again, it's going to be the hands on my knees, it's getting hot in here, all of those silly songs that you're coming through, you're going to tell me what those things are. Because again, it's going to be that small reference. Like, oh, that's why I heard that.
Say right or fight? Some height.
It's every voice you can touch. You should have threats in your head crazy. But that's
Okay,
great.
I'll just start yelling.
Yeah, just start screaming them out.
What happened to your house here on this lot?
Sorry, I migrate to this one because I get to listen to it.
Okay, now there's opera.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys all the answers. I kind of gave her a few tips. I'm just giving her an extra minute. I say we wrap this one up because you guys are we're obviously struggling with this one because nothing's coming through. And I think she was just looking for correct answers. So again, it's a matter of like you got to tell me all the little things. So let's kind of go like back to the back. Cameras, go ahead and hit your stop buttons. Give your hands a break. So. Yeah.
It must be the money.
Okay.
Let's get the money.
That actually kind of makes sense here. I want else have you found? Read that conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah. What's
Karma.
Karma.
You guys got anything on your spirit box?
It's very just
Yep. You don't get nearly as much on that one, do you?
like
Anything
that,
else?
like pieces and words can be put together. But
Yeah.
Slowly
Anything
creep
else,
behind
Misty?
you, so I don't
Okay.
get them in
All
view.
right. So down your baseline in here is going to be an 8. The reason why, we do have lampposts near us. They will give us up to a 7. I like to make sure that we have some movement. With the cameras. Yeah, watch
Let's use this.
So cameras, we do want a full shot of the alley one way or the other. So it's always going to be on almost just hold it at your side. See if anybody's coming back at me. Yeah, get that.
I'm listening. I'm just trying to get the good angles.
Down here, get a good angle. You don't need us in here because of the foliage.
Oh, okay.
The foliage actually gives us that cold reference, and the brick will give us the warm reference. So we're going to keep you on mute while we're in here, Grace, just so you know. We're going to cover the history, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Every ghost tour in Charleston comes here. I was actually looking to take this out of my route because of that, because everybody comes here, but this damn ghost won't leave me alone. He actually follows me around a little bit, and I'll explain as we go from different spaces and why he goes to those spaces too. Not to mention, this ghost story has been told for like the past 40 to 50 years, and all these people have been talking about him, but I'm probably the first one that's been able to communicate with him.
Heard everything I do on 2 separate occasions.
So he's an interesting character, so let's kind of get into it. There's a doctor that, by the way, this used to be called Dueler's Alley. So that was the name before Philadelphia Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So when I say some of the duels, it's because it was illegal and they had to find hiding spots. This happened to be one of those hiding spots. So here's how this goes. Doctor moves here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I say his name slowly because if we get the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. Anyway, he moves here because, anyways, I'll smell vinegar. This happened to me
I
a few
did
weeks
too,
ago
yeah.
too. Like, just a few weeks ago that happened too, and it's not all the time. I don't know where the hell it's coming from.
Yeah.
This was a few weeks ago, though.
Vinegar
I'm
is
just
a
wondering, is
sterile
somebody
agent.
cleaning with it?
Sterile agent.
Yeah,
Doctor.
interesting.
Yeah, you did.
Oh shit, I didn't even think of that, dude.
Ooh, that's so good.
Iodine.
Yeah, interesting. I like it. I don't like the smell of vinegar, but whatever. You guys get my point. Anyway, he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. She just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. And basically she has an attorney that's helping her out with all the cash flow. And the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. About the money. That's why I was like, it kind of makes sense here. So the attorney tells Amanda to get rid of this doctor. He comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. So we got another group that's going to be walking by, Jared, just so you know. So on his way into town, he actually had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. Out there, he's going to pass by. How you doing, gentlemen? It's all right. It's probably my nephew asking me for stickers for my uncle. But anyway, so the coachman that he had set him up to be robbed and killed, and it wasn't a good start to the doctor's stay here. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. By the way, that coachman was kind of like a really bad Uber driver, if we want to put it in today's terms. They drop you off and they're going to try to kill you when you get out. But the person walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. I stop on his name slowly because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters R.I. on regular spirit boxes like what Misty's using, so I bought a new device, and it basically is a digital Ouija board. I wanted to make sure I was having exact letters. It's called an envoy. It's not always productive, so I don't always bring it out unless I have my larger groups. But I did buy it for this specific location. We've had it about half a dozen times whenever I bring up Ralph's name. Back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy, the driver. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay with them, and you'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She gets wind of this. She's moving down, so that way they could be married. And Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is another reason why I hate the damn stories, because it's a big old cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost, I promise you. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Anyway, here's why they started their duel. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the new actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. So Ralph has friends around town. He places an ad in the newspaper.
Embrace the daughter.
Embrace the daughter. He places an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of you're a disgrace to society kind of BS, right? Doc saw this ad, and he rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. So they came down here, they took their 10 paces. Oh, by the way, this argument started over an actress. I just like to point out the stupidity of the argument of how this all began. But they came down back to back, they took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap from the doctor. Doc didn't die. He just fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of gunshot wounds now. He's also a doctor. Probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. So he obviously failed because he died. Every ghost tour that comes down here, everyone that you just saw, will tell their guests to listen for the whistles while you're here. Now, we do have 2 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a whistle, it's going to be on one of those 3 devices. I will also tell you that if you're going to try to walk through here on your own with your voice recorders from your phones looking for that whistle, keep in mind every local knows a story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley, I included. So I also do that because I've been thrown out of here. Let me explain. It's another reason why we kind of we just hover for a few minutes and then we get the hell out of here. So this alley didn't always go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there about halfway between us, which is also why I also stand in front of the gate, because I've actually measured the distance of where the wall used to be. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley. So this is where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. So chickens, cows, and goats were down here. So kind of picture that. The reason why I'm telling you this is because that means that the bricks on the other side, down by Queen Street, are older, because that's where the alley originally started. It worked its way all the way over to Cumberland Street. So those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there in one of those bricks, and fingerprint swipes in others. And I used to take my groups all the way through here to give them a history lesson. We all need to see that handprint to show how far we come from slavery. However, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. The kid's not there. There's nothing paranormal about me showing off that brick. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that one brick, waiting for something to happen with their gear, even though I told them, you gotta keep moving. I'm also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley, because we're standing outside his dining room window. He got pissed, he came out, he started screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at, and she was on the tour that night. She was probably about Tegan's age, and she thought it was hysterical. So we just moved on, I'll just say that. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I used to work in upper management for Walmart, and people like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, which means I'm scarred for life for working on Thanksgiving. I don't do it. I own my own company now. I'm not going to do it. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time. They drugged me into tourism, and I told him what happened, trying to figure out what to do next. He laughed at me just like my daughter did. He's like, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. It's residential past the halfway point. You're only allowed to go down halfway. Reroute the group for tonight. It's Black Friday, and I'm sold out again. So I told my group, I don't believe in the next story, because first off, I've never had anything happen there with all of my gear, and I've been there dozens of times. Second, I'm into vampires, not pirates. We're going to be discussing pirates next, in case you didn't figure that out by now. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne come out of the spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get over there, I told them the little bit I did know about pirates at the time. It wasn't much, because I didn't give a shit about pirates. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down, I researched it, I'm going through their data, and it turns out we were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, I normally get like the, okay, I could see that, but I was actually kind of pissed off.
1948. I didn't hear what dates you were talking about.
But with me being ticked off about the whole pirate ordeal, not only because I wasn't into pirates, but pirate stories and whatever I'm doing, because I do have a master's degree in creative writing. So I need facts and data no matter what I'm working with, especially this, because again, I need to validate what you guys are finding. problem with pirates is that the pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years before it actually occurred. That's a problem. That means I have to read more books on pirates to validate what the hell you guys are all finding. Since then, I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, watched more documentaries, I even play video games with pirates now to get different versions of the story. So everything we're going to be discussing at the next location, it's a super fun story, don't get me wrong. But just keep in mind, I made it as factual as I possibly could. We will be able to spread out in that space, and hopefully you're going to get things from Dr. Ladd over there as well. Oh, these birds tonight, I heard them all over the place earlier too, like when we were over by Big John.
You're like fighting.
And what was that? You said 1948, so I got to write that down. Anything above that 8, and you were obviously on mute, and anything crazy coming out of your cams. Okay, before we leave the space, the gate, just a weird little Charleston nugget of history. It also shows you how much research I do on these spaces. Remember I told you there was a wall up there? So if there's a loser to the duel down here, this is the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. So that's kind of the mentality of why this archway was put here, but the wrought iron was actually put here in the early 1900s. Who knows, maybe it did in 1948, because I don't know the exact year. But you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. But that's why this was actually put here, because this was Dueler's Alley. This is where the duels occurred. So it's a very interesting little fact. I don't think any other tour talks about it, and I even told my daughter, I still can't find the damn website where I found that piece of information. I should have saved it, because I saved everything, and it's probably just lost in all of the crap that I saved on my computers. Alright, any other major questions on dueling before we go learn about rated R pirates? You got my dad joke. I was going to have to take it a step further if nobody got it. Now wait a minute, I will take it further now, because he did the growl. If the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, then what is it? Super quiet. It must be the C.
Oh my god.
Or maybe someone's messing with this.
Yeah, I just try to stay out of their way. Alright, so what are you pointing out? That's exactly why we're here. And they're not crosses. Wow, you love beating me to the punch. I love it.
We were just, we were like,
when I came
and
over,
I thought it was like, oh, somebody probably
that
just sprayed it in his face.
No, it's actually not. It's actually a powder magazine. It's a museum now. It held gunpowder for 7 different wars. The Civil War was its last servant. You guys are looking at those crosses. They're not crosses. They're earthquake bolts.
Yeah.
If you don't know what those are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, you turn them, and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. They're all over town in the form of lion heads and pineapples. It's just our Charleston charm bullshit. You guys, it's what we do here. Even the apartment building behind it, if you look really close, there are big squares on every single floor. The odd thing about that building is that those earthquake bolts are on all 4 sides, which means they crisscross underneath the floorboards. It's really dumb. Like, Californians laugh their tails off at me every time I bring this up, but it's actually part of the reason why we're here are those large crosses that you guys were pointing at. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. That's why they look like that. The reason why is because that building is the oldest government building in South Carolina. We are here because during its construction is when Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. It's what I call a familiar. It seems like most of you guys watch all the TV shows and YouTubers, and you've probably seen the Boo Buddy. That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light device in it, and if the ghost touches it, the child ghost, it says, hey, that tickles. Like, it's really dark and creepy if you really think about it.
It kind of is, yeah.
But at the same time, that's my reference, because they use that to attract a child ghost, because he recognizes it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have many buildings this old that Anne would recognize from her own era. Hence why this is a roll of the dice if she'll be here at the same time we are or not. So, with that said, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building? 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
Not at all. But anyway, 1708 is where our history begins. I will slow down on the twist, but I will speed through everything else so we can get back to work. There's a couple of twists with this story because we are talking about a female kick-ass pirate here. So, here's how it goes. 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress, and the mistress is Anne's mother. You with me so far? Okay, 3 of them running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was that wife that she kicked them out of the damn country when there's no such thing as airplane jet? So they came here by boat. And by the way, normally I joke around like, please be nice to your ladies because they will kick you up to Canada by plane. Much easier ride. But they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. And Dad bought a plantation in Georgetown. God, I hate the loud tour guide guys. Like, they really drive me crazy. What do you have now? Where's your phone? By curiosity. Back? Okay, keep it there. That's not doing it. Okay. So if it was like up front, like in a pocket, like where you were holding it, I'd say you might have some interference. But yeah, back pocket, that's definitely not it.
Holy shit.
And you're kind of holding it out too,
Yeah,
so.
it's been like a consistent 0, 0, and then just.
It'll spike. It'll go like that. It went to 3.6 and dropped like down to 3, and then it'll just drop back to 0. It'll spike up.
You guys are leaving him behind so you can stay with me every night now, right? Again, we don't. We don't get these kind of readings here. I'm super stoked, by the way. This is me excited. I'm not a TV
Got a
show
lot
host.
of baggage and tools.
They have probably missing things. And again, I don't want to know anything because when I go to the office, I don't want to know like what lost family members she's had. What happened?
Stupid.
Okay, they're stupid. We're moving on.
Sorry.
We'll tell you the story.
Okay, there's a
They
back.
say
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is about somebody that you lost?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Okay.
Only tell me if you get evidence from it on the spirit box.
Got it.
Is that fair? Okay. Because again, I don't want to look for it when I get there.
Okay.
I like to remain in the dark. So where was I? Oh, Dad bought a plantation and Mom died quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Ann down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to keep the plantation up there afloat. So let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second. I'd like to give you the mentality of this young lady just so you know who she is as we're moving forward. When Anne was only 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Just, again, little kid did that. So just kind of put that in the back of your brain. We're going to move forward. The building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why? She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world right these days. So the first guy she fell in love with. I said first slowly because there's a good handful, and we're going to discuss them all. That's what makes the story so damn good. First guy is James Bonney. You already know where this one's going. I've already told you her pirate name. Now, Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica and got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name is. Now, when they get there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That makes him a coward because he's a spy for the British. This isn't who she wanted. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering. Jack has his own crew. He has his own ship. You can't put a female on a pirate ship, though, because it's bad luck. And Anne wants to be part of that crew. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But most of us are adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show and says, has the baby here. These are friends of mine. Come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it or released that information. However, she also dresses like a girl when she comes back. So this makes Jack pretty pissed off. Now he's going to know he let a girl on a ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So the names Mary and Mark will show up from time to time. Now, Mary and Anne became friends, for sure, maybe lovers, we're not really certain. Tegan, are you... yeah, so when you are recording, try not to flip. YouTube doesn't like the flippies, so you guys will have to watch that video like this for 30 seconds. But at the same time, so the British find out where this whole pirate ship is, and they send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take down one pirate ship. So Anne and Mary, the rumor is, they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They haven't been pirates for very long and don't know how to use the cannons. But 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, Jack, and he's basically the beau, right? And she says, I'm sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up in all of
the trial.
Oh, nice, we're getting to that. The judge wants to see the 2 men, quote unquote, that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and his drunken pirates that wouldn't fight, so they're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. And the judge doesn't give a damn that they're female. They're still pirates. He's going to hang them anyway. They scream, we plead our bellies, which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know anything for fact after her pirate career. Everything is speculative fiction. There's many, many conspiracy theories, and hopefully the karma doesn't come back to bite me in the ass if I start spreading them around. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books would tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say make it romantic. We are talking pirates. Call it scurvy. I don't give a damn. Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did at the King Queen Mansion site. I'm just going to give you a few things that I left out. Everything else is fair game. I normally say if you drink rum and smoke tobacco, have at it. You're probably attracted to the pirate ghost to come over here and chat with us. Now, here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. So I didn't tell you what those were. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, the name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Everything else you want to ask is fair game. Keep in mind, I can't prove a lot of the things that happened with her children. So if you start asking about the baby and what happened to it, it might just be a private conversation among whoever's asking that question. I've seen it happen, I just can't prove it. That's the bad thing. I can't count it as evidence other than 1 point for conversational type of activity going on. I like facts and data. So we are going to spread out in this spot. Jared, your camera, if it gives you like the old like Tube TV white snow, let me know. We've seen that here in the past, and usually whoever you're filming, their device will stop working. It's weird. It's happened a couple of times. Last time it happened was probably like 2 years ago, but again, it's happened on more than one occasion. We're definitely going to have you unmuted while we're here. Darren, as far as your EMF reading goes, the front half has all those parts of yours, 2 transmitters on the ground that will influence it. And again, I'm already excited about what you do have, but it's only because it's on this back half. So kind of keep that in mind. And then Tegan, as far as yours goes, this wall is not your friend. It's covered in leaves. It's going to look like a bunch of army men up there. So you guys know the drill. Let's get to work. We got this. Misty's like off in La La Land already. I can already see her going like this.
Let's see if I can track the spirits. Puff, puff.
What are we supposed to be asking?
Anne, what is the name of your father and his mistress?
Anything weird?
No.
No?
Not yet.
All the silly things. Because again, I'm still withholding information. Not to mention we could be getting things from Doc too.
Well, Beyonce just came through this ain't Texas.
Yeah, she's from Ireland.
So,
Discarded.
okay.
Like that baby.
When other states are said on a South Carolina radio station, I still write them down. Because let's say, for example, like, what state are you guys from?
Texas.
Okay, so let's say last night I had your name show up and then the word Texas. It does a lot of
Excuse
prediction.
me.
Was her hair red?
It was red.
Oh my gosh.
Hair red?
Every single one of us. I was just like,
Well, she asked and it didn't say nothing, and she said, "And were you bald?" And it goes no, and then we didn't think
we were like,
nothing of it,
okay.
and then
I asked again. I was like, what color was your hair? And it goes red.
And you were recording?
yeah,
Because that's the only way we're all going to be able to hear it.
there wasn't
Nothing going on there.
But we were all standing next to each other. So okay.
Nice. See? That's why you guys came. I'm sorry that it came so late. We finally have some answers coming through. So we did get the word discarded. Oh, by the way, what I'm getting at with the whole Texas thing was it would have kind of predicted, and I see that probably about half a dozen times a year, where it'll actually give me a very specific name and a state or a nationality of something. Like it might say Japanese, and then say, Chow Yen or something like that, and all of a sudden I have a Chow Yen the next day it was Japanese. So again, it happens like about half a dozen times a year. But you heard the word discarded. I'm going to mark that just because that's a weird term to hear on the
The baby was.
Or Anne felt that way.
Or Anne felt that way.
I mean, I like both.
I mean, they're
points of view.
options. Yeah,
I would need more to go along with it.
100%.
I'm a player.
You'll start to hear. We get a lot of sexual terms here.
Well, I mean, she did.
Yeah. And we will get.
Playing.
Girls just want to have fun. Like we'll hear that phrase here all the time.
And you want some of this?
I don't know, dude. You are rocking the beard.
I meant tobacco.
That you meant you.
No, I'm good. I'm locked up and can't have meat. Too fast. My bad.
Something about kids.
How many kids do you have, Ann?
Please help me.
Why do you need help? What's wrong?
You guys figured out?
It was a shadow.
Tell us how to help you.
Did you guys hear help?
I said, please help me.
And with what? You should be the one helping us at this point.
What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for you to give me some damn answers, man.
Ann, how many people did you kill? And give me a word to describe your life.
Okay, was it blue?
And what's your dad's name? That was a huge shift in temperature change.
We just heard.
Like the whole screen went red to blue. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's why. Debunked.
typically from Charles over there, but it's usually something like, hey, I'm here, I'm Charles, you know, something relative to him.
Crossing his
You might
hand.
give like a persona like, hey, my wife was this. I could give us a number of her birthday.
I
or
laid my
something.
head.
It'll say like Charles and then like December, and we're in the month of March because his wife's birthday, the one of Liza we talked about, her birthday's in December.
Okay.
So he would kind of give us like a small clue like that, but like he just asked something about what was your father's name, and you got the name George.
According to the stories.
Oh yeah? What stories?
Big stretch. I'm
Yeah.
just pointing that out there.
But still, but why?
Still,
Those
why
are
did you do
together.
it?
Yeah.
You want to switch and do this one?
No matter.
You might be better at this than I am. I'm through ADD.
Why? Careful where you grab it.
Uh-oh, switching it up.
There's a button that,
Mhm.
yeah.
Camera on your left. You got it.
Answer. I have what? Extra 25 cents.
It's all, and again, you don't know that the number 25 doesn't mean something. This way to catch it. Okay. More vague, but still in the right vein.
So I'm curious though, you said you were studying like the dates, the weather, the type of patterns that are specific. Like time period, and what periods seem to be more active than others.
It's honestly relative to what dates are relevant to that particular haunting. So I just said that Eliza's birthday is in December, so we'll probably.
Oh, that was weird.
It just says Luke again. We keep asking what was your father's name. They keep saying Luke.
Yeah, it wasn't Luke. It's just weird that you're getting the same name.
Falling.
And you said you had something weird?
Yeah, birds chirping.
Like, you didn't hear the phrase birds chirping? You
No,
actually
I heard birds
chirping?
flying. It was like clear as day.
Clear as day, birds chirping.
Change.
But no, there's like one of the spaces.
It says peek in my window.
Peekaboo.
And I've actually been investigating.
Kiss.
The gentleman died in October, as did his son. So that entire month,
Peek in my window.
it's like a whole month. And we don't get months in here.
He was there.
Second year in a row that I've noticed this during the month of October, which is obviously my busiest season. Like I almost need to take it out because nothing's going on. Like,
Said rock hard.
Dang, you got a sexual ghost.
Hey, why aren't we getting anything? Oh shit, put two and two together. Both of them died in October. So
Is Lynn a 16?
Now it's moaning.
no.
No.
Yeah.
He has a sexual ghost, apparently.
Yeah.
Am I getting dirty with it?
Oh, it said rock hard. It said peek in my window, and then moaning.
Kiss. It said kiss.
And I was like, whoa.
I told you we get sexual terms while we're here. Talking about the many lovers of Anne Bonny, we get all kinds of
That's
stuff.
funny.
Like that word generator list, I can't tell you how many times the F-bomb has showed up on
Plenty.
it. Interesting.
A million?
I'm going to break down all that, like peek in my window. Like, that's weird. That's a weird phrase to hear.
Release him.
And
And that was a yell. Fire. That's common, I'm sure.
yes and no.
Ashley. Life insurance.
It's for the fire.
All right, we're back to the commercials. Oh, just scream like a loud scream.
Damn, I want to see what else they're getting. You're actually, you're one of the people, like, he picked up on it right away.
Yeah, he's
That's
good
obvious.
because he's like ADHD, so I can't. I'm like,
That was somewhere else, right? Okay.
yeah. I was like,
So whenever you guys book your tickets, it's Janine from Ghostbusters when
Oh
she
my
slams
gosh.
down the bell and says, "We got one."
I love that.
It used to be that when she answered the phone and said, "Ghostbusters, what do you want?"
That's cool.
But I took that one out and I just added it. I'm glad did you guys hear that whole red thing that they had, right?
Yeah, I heard her say that. That's really
Red
cool.
hair, I kind of knew she had red hair before I knew that.
Yeah, but she asked
From
if she was
history.
bald.
No, that was awesome.
But she asked, the first thing about it is, I mean, she asked if she was bald, and she got a direct answer, which is still no. It's a yes/no answer. But at the same time, she's like, well, then what color was it? So, I mean, she had a small conversation about it. That's why I wrote down no. It's the only time when I do stuff like that.
Make me sweat.
Oh, she's dirty, man. She can get a little randy.
That song was playing when I had it earlier. Make me harder.
Yeah. Hands
She,
off.
she likes you better. For the record, he's mine.
You had.
Alright, let's head over towards this wall. Let's wrap this one up. Did you get something else?
I said, for the record, he's mine. And she goes, you had.
Be specific.
So, the next location is going to be a lot different. It will be our last stop, just so you guys know. And let me explain how this is going to go.
Just turn this off.
We're going to be doing the Estes method. Are you guys familiar with this?
Yes.
Good, because you're going under.
Yay.
So, his spirit box, I'm going to basically blindfold him. And he's going to be listening to that spirit box with both ears, and he's not going to be able to hear me. I'm going to be talking to him as if he's the ghost. You guys are not going to know the history until after the experiment is over. The other part of this is I'm going to take Grace and I'm going to put her in virtual reality. You're going to be wearing a head cam. And it's going to create AI images. So I have no idea what these images are, and it's going to be using the EMF just like what Dad's device does. It's going to take it and translate it into an image. It's going to use the magnetometer of the phone that will be inside of there. All phones have a magnetometer, so this app is something you can download when you guys get home. It's a lot of fun to play around with. What this should look like. It should look like a conversation between me and Jared. And then your images will be complementary to hopefully what this will look like as far as the conversation. So you guys will be and told them the history ahead of time, and then that way they can come back and watch it unfold. I think it's also just as fun when nobody knows the history, and then I tell you how the story goes, and it's quick. Like, there's not much to it, really. But this guy is, last night's conversation was a little on the, how do I put this? I don't want to say darker side, but he was actually getting a little perturbed by me being there.
Where are you going?
He's not always exactly happy about me being there because he doesn't like me poking the bear all the time. It was probably the most activity I had out of him in quite some time. I'll just say a few weeks. More than one or two answers that were, okay, that could have been something. This was like a full-blown conversation that we had last night. It was pretty cool. Your imagery that you'll be seeing, Grace, is about 45% accurate to the space. So about half of the pictures you're going to see, and you might not get any. We've had nights where we've had 0, but other nights we've had like 12. The average is about 4. But half of those will be relevant to that location. Like we always do, we can continue the conversation we had last night. I'm okay with that. But let's start off with your occupation like we always do. Can you give us something about your occupation, please? We're setting up the little green box so you can use it to give us images. Tell us something about your occupation. Oh, by the way,
Hearing.
Tegan, I'm going to need you to film them so that way they can watch this later on. So you see how there's like stars in them? That's what you're going to see as kind of like a backdrop. All you're going to do is look straight ahead. This is not going to be like a
Forever.
in your face kind of mentality. And then you just see an image that floats in front. Try not to look down because you'll start hitting buttons in the
Targeted.
Henry, your occupation, please. This is Jared. We can hear whatever you want him to hear. Yeah, they're going to want to watch this later on. Yeah, you might want to get in a little bit closer. And with your
Association.
Your camera's on the right, so stop your video and flip it over. Because it'll be up. Just use the red box that's in his hand. He can hear voices.
Live.
He can hear voices coming through there. You know how this works. We've done this a dozen.
Buzzsaw.
Buzz.
That's weird.
That's weird.
I see fire.
Okay. Is there something burning, or is it just fire in a forest? Like, what do we have?
It's okay. It was a really a
Come and take
landscape
it.
of fire, and then like there was something blue in the corner, and it was just like on fire. It was
Listen.
blue. I don't know how to describe it. It almost looked like a colonial painting.
Okay. Henry,
Okay, now.
I don't understand what the image was. But again,
17.3. I'll show you. Low rocket.
Henry, I'm going back to your occupation. We're keeping it simple. Give us something
Can't
about your...
take it.
Well, Henry, I know you're not exactly happy about us being here, but this is us trying to validate that you're still here and learning more about you. We've had some good conversations. Last night was a little on the edgy side.
Peaceful.
It was not peaceful. Did you feel like it was peaceful? That's a yes/no question.
Boots.
That would be you, sir. No. Oh, we've had triple digits in here last night. We actually had some decent readings in here last night.
It got really, it's white. It's completely white. There's white.
I want you.
There's like two circles.
Now you're
Artwork, maybe? What
It looks like all the colonial drawings. It's so
One.
crazy. It almost looks like a magnifying glass, and then there's like paper, and there's words, and he's like
5
reading
years.
the papers.
Okay, I know where he's going.
Like
Henry,
there's like a magnifying glass, and he's trying to
is there anything red on the paper?
hurt like hell.
No. But there's like a shadow, and it's blue, and it's almost like he's trying to like zoom into it. I don't
Okay.
Exactly.
like he's at.
I think I got it. Henry, I appreciate the image. I see where you're going. Now we all know that you were a writer. So,
It's like desk, and there's lots of papers everywhere.
That's cool.
Henry, can you tell us what you wrote about?
Dante.
It almost looked like there was an eye on the paper. Like there was like the magnifying glass here, and then there was an eye, and then there was just all these words and
Leave.
documents around it.
Henry,
If you die.
you know what the code word is if you want us to leave. That is not the word. Henry, let's talk about what you wrote
Shall.
about. And where did the name Dante come from? I don't know who that is in your perspective. Henry, I've asked you a few questions.
I don't want to.
Tell us what you wrote about. Nice and simple. What was the theme of your
I guess split.
work? Split between what? You're correct. Split.
Her song.
Okay. Henry, be more specific. What did you write about? Split between what?
Stay with me.
You told us to leave a minute ago. You're confusing us.
There's a little boy,
Fire.
and he's
How old is the
crying.
boy?
It's a young boy, and he's crying at the desk, and he's really upset. Like he has his hand on his head like this, and he's like screaming, almost like he has a headache, maybe.
Okay. How old is the boy?
He has to be like
Get away.
6, 7, 8.
Okay.
He's wearing a blue shirt, and he's just in a room. It looks like a classroom around him, just sitting at a desk holding his head.
Henry, who's the boy in the picture? Henry.
He's young. He has brown hair.
Henry, who's the boy in the picture?
Anything.
Notice how he almost seems like sluggish.
Better off.
At this point. He didn't say anything for a little while. This is kind of a weird. I don't know if he's just sliding down, but he started off real strong and now he's not getting a whole lot. Henry, I've asked you a lot of questions tonight. Just trying to get you to talk to us.
About 2.
Just trying to get you to open up.
That's where I come from.
Henry. I know there's more people walking through here, and that's not something you normally care for early on in time. We're down to about 2 to 3 minutes, so let's kind of wrap this one up. If you would like us to go home, you could say the word home.
Come on.
Henry. anything else that you would like to say to us? Anything at all? Your topic of choice. People are leaving. Some trees.
Took a vote.
Took a vote. Henry, haven't really given us anything tonight. Given us that image, which
My pretty lady.
I'm thankful for, but you have not given us anything to verify that you were actually here. Can you give us?
Send him.
Can you give us one more image coming through the green box? How many images did you have?
Just as we do.
Three? Henry, let's get one more. And then we will wrap this up.
Surprise.
You know me, I'll actually hold to my word. I'll wrap it up when you ask us to. One more image that's relevant to you, Henry. Henry,
Hard work.
you did do some hard work. These folks don't know your story yet. I'm about to give it to them. Henry, where's that image? One more image.
Has to be.
Too big. Any numbers at all? Nothing.
Freaking me out.
We're freaking you out, Henry? That's not a phrase you would normally say. Still on stars, Grace? Okay, I think it's fair we can call it. It's happening now. Alright, so we may have one image that was relevant. Conversation-wise, it's a dud. Like, you guys, I'm sure you appreciate my honesty. Don't get up, because obviously you guys are going to be baby giraffes falling on the ground. So we're going to take a look at these images real quick, just to see what we got. If you have a camera, by all means, put them on stop.